when you are ready to move to the next slide. But can I ask Vera that you put the recording on now and we can start. So Erika, you are welcome to start.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. Can I have the next slide, please?
Yes.
So I thought I'd sort of give you an introduction into where we are now with the ESPR. As you probably know, it's not legislation in force yet. We're still negotiating, but there's some legislation on the background which the ESPR builds on, and that's the directive on the eco-design of energy-related products. And the directive has actually been very successful, which is probably the main reason why the Commission decided to sort of build on it and introduce a proposal for a regulation that works in a similar fashion. But where we are now, last spring in May, we finished the first phase of the negotiations in the Council. The Working Party on Competitiveness and Growth had been discussing the proposal from autumn 22 to spring 23. And we talked, well, basically a lot of the discussion circled around the use of delegated acts within the regulation, around the digital product passport and different aspects that are related to its implementation, discarding unsold consumer products, and then interfaces to other legislation. These are only examples, so it's a wide instrument. So there's been a lot of ground to cover. So the Competitiveness Council, which means the competitiveness ministers, approved their so-called general approach, which is the sort of the position that the Council will take when it enters into negotiations with the Parliament and the Commission. The general approach was adopted in May 2023, and then the European Parliament adopted its position in July. And where we are now is the so-called trilateral negotiations, where the Council, i.e. the member states, are represented by the Spanish presidency at the moment. Can I have the next slide, please?
Oh, sorry. So
to start with, the ESPR proposal given by the Commission. The idea was to create a framework for improving the environmental sustainability of products in general and to ensure the free movement of goods within the internal market. So you see here that the goal setting in the proposal is twofold. It's, on the one hand, we want to diminish the environmental impacts of products. On the other hand, we want to ensure the functioning of the internal market and to ensure the free movement of goods, and sort of to put all the market actors on an equal position and create a level playing field for them within the internal market. And the first thing to mention here is the vast extension of scope in comparison to the former directive. The former directive covered only energy-related products, whereas now we would cover basically all products. And the term product would be understood widely. It would mean any physical good that is placed on the market or put into service within the EU. and this would also cover components and intermediate products. Certain exclusions were made already in the Commission proposal, and those were food, feed, medicine, living plants, and animals. Roughly speaking, it's more. The list is more detailed if you look at the proposal. Then another change that I find considerable was the move from directive to regulation. As the directive has to be implemented separately in the member states into their national legislations, regulation is legislation in force without any further ado in the member states. So this is something that we've sort of had to keep in mind during the negotiations. The idea of this regulation is that the general and horizontal provisions would be given in the framework regulations, and then the detailed obligations would be given in delegated acts adopted by the Commission. The former directive has worked in the same way, and it has been seen as a very flexible and future-proof system. It's very adaptable. So that's why it has been seen a concept to be employed here as well. As I said, the power to issue delegated acts has been given to the Commission. So that puts Commission in a very important role. But obviously, the Commission has to listen to the member states as well in the process. The goal of ensuring the free movement of goods would mean, in practice, in this context, that the products to enter the internal market, to be able to enter the internal market, they would have to fulfill the applicable requirements that have been given in the delegated acts. And on the other hand, the entry into the internal market cannot be denied if the requirements are fulfilled. So there's no there's no latitude for the member states to try to influence what products enter their markets. And the requirements that are given in the delegated acts given by the Commission, they would seek to improve the qualities in products, and the qualities have been outlined in the regulation or the proposal for regulation. And these qualities include inter alia energy efficiency, repairability, recyclability, durability, updatability, substances of concern, environmental impacts. These are all aspects that need to be taken into account. I would point out the energy efficiency, which has been the central issue in the previous or the directive that is still in force. We've actually managed to reach very considerable improvements in energy efficiency in energy-related products by means of the former directive. So it has been seen as a very efficient tool. Can I have the next slide, please? So the power to adopt the requirements relating to the product aspects listed in the regulation, that power has been given to the Commission, but it's not unlimited. So the product aspects that the Commission has to take into account are listed in the regulation, and they include, for example, durability, reusability, repairability, and the recycled content in the product. The idea is that the eco-design requirements in the delegated acts would be given or would be product group specific. The requirements could be horizontal under certain circumstances, but those are exceptions to the rule. And the requirements should include, as applicable, performance requirements and information requirements. They have their own article in the regulation. Can I have the next slide, please?
Oh, sorry. Here.
One very interesting or an issue that has raised a lot of interest is the digital product passport. This is not the only instrument where this kind of tool has been planned, but I guess this is the sort of the widest or the most wide-reaching instrument. The digital product passport refers to a digital data carrier on the product or on its packaging. It would be, for example, a QR code, but we're trying to sort of take care that we remain technology neutral in this regulation. So it may be a QR code or it may be something else. I would imagine that it would also depend on the product group in question, which sort of technology would be the most usable. And the obligation to have a digital product passport would cover all products on the market on which requirements have been imposed by means of delegated acts. So this is sort of, here you have to take into account that the fact that the regulation built up a long time. So there will be eco-design requirements on specific product groups only when the delegated acts on those product groups have been adopted. And the obligation to have a digital product passport applies only to those product groups which have those eco-design requirements. But what has been provided for in the proposal is that there should be no unreasonable burden on small and medium-sized enterprises, and that the Commission has the power to make exemptions by product group. The contents of the product passport, the information that it's supposed to include, will be specified in the delegated acts by the Commission. It would include product information, including, for example, updating and modifying. It would include information dissemination throughout the value chain. This is the basic idea of the product passport. It's supposed to provide information throughout the value chain. It needs to make verification of conformity easier. And the requirements would be given at the level of product groups as a main rule. And the information would be given at the level of either model, batch, or product. And as the digital product passport will create a lot of will create in practice an information storage. The idea is that it would be decentralized. The information included in different digital product passports would not be stored in any central database or the like, but it would be the economic actors would be responsible for storing their own information. Can I have the next slide, please? The idea with the DPP has been that it would be interoperable with other product passports. And the user rights would be based on the delegated act, where the DPP is provided for. they may differ based on which user in the value chain is the one in question. And as I said before, the economic operator responsible for creating the DPP is also responsible for keeping the information. This is based on the Commission proposal, that is. And the accuracy of the information must be ensured, obviously. And another question has been customs controls, because the DPP is the what the customs controls as a imported product enters the internal market. Customs is one part of the market surveillance system here, but it's a bit special in the sense that it's not a similar verification process that the customs do, as they will have to cover all the products. So that needs to be taken into account. Can I have the next slide, please?
Oh, sorry, I have some difficulties with my mouse. Yes. This is the next.
Yeah. So we reached the Council General approach in May. It was decided upon by the competitiveness ministers after negotiations in the within the council. The council proposed certain changes to the Commission proposal. First of all, there was the exclusion of vehicles that was proposed, and then a number of changes were proposed by the council because we weren't very happy with the extensive delegation of powers to the Commission. The Commission proposal seemed to involve a lot of how should I say it, transfer of powers that have previously been held by the member states, and then the transfer of powers would have led to the transfer of those powers to the Commission, and a diminishing of the power of the member states influence future legislation. So what we proposed was first to make the Commission working plan into an implementing act. And this means, well, the Commission working plan is a plan by the Commission where it outlines the product groups that it intends to cover in its future work, and on which it intends to give eco-design requirements on. And to make it an implementing act instead of a delegated act would mean that the member states would have a chance to vote on it. So we would, be taking part in the decision making in a different way. Then we proposed to create a new eco-design expert group. As you may be familiar with, there is also already an organ called the Eco-Design Forum, which is consulted in the process of creating the eco-design requirements. But the eco-design expert group would be specifically composed of member states nominated experts. So that would give a possibility to bring the member states' views in the decision-making process. And then we propose specifications and limitations to the powers accorded to the Commission. For example, there would be a new Article 7A on the content of a delegated act. And then in the general approach, there was included a prohibition to discard unsold apparel and accessories, which would be obviously a product group specific requirement, but it was considered important enough to bring it into the regulation. Can I have the next slide, please? On the eco-design expert group, here are a couple of sightings from the Council General Approach. The Council proposed to include in recital 18A that the expert group would be established for the consultation of experts designated by the member states prior to the adoption of all delegated acts setting out eco-design requirements pursuant to this regulation. And then into Article 4, we propose that the Commission is empowered to adopt delegated acts after consulting the eco-design expert group referred to in Article 17A, and the eco-design forum referred to in Article 17 to supplement this regulation by establishing eco-design requirements. And the idea was that this would improve the possibilities for the views of the member states to be heard and taken into account. And why this was important to us in particular is we see it very clearly up here in the north that we might need some different requirements in some critical product groups than would be needed in the south of Europe. Can I have the next slide, please? And then the European Parliament's position was taken on the 12th of July this year. Some sort of central points made by the European Parliament include the power to the Commission to establish that no eco-design requirements apply for imported second-hand products. And then they proposed an obligation to the Commission to ensure that economic operators have sufficient time to adapt to the new requirements, particularly taking into account the needs of micro enterprises and SMEs. And in general, they suggested that the needs of micro enterprises and SMEs are taken into account in many respects. They proposed that the Commission ensure that there's no premature obsolescence, and that the Commission ensures that no limitations are set to repairability, and this would include both de facto limitations as well as ones made in legislation. And then they proposed to provide for minimum coverage for the Commission working plan, which would be 3 years, and an obligation to present it to the European Parliament before adoption. And then also a proposal was made to provide for certain product groups to be prioritized in the first Commission working plan in 24 to 27. Can I have the next slide, please? Which may be the last one. No, it's not. Then the European Parliament also took a stand on discarding of unsold consumer products. They wanted to prohibit discarding unsold textiles and footwear together with electrical and electronic equipment. And well, this is much wider than the prohibition that was proposed in the Council General Approach, which only covered unsold apparel and accessories. And then, other prohibitions would be made by means of a Commission delegated acts. But then that was the case in the proposal as well. And then the EP proposed that the Commission publish an annual report on relevant data on products and product groups, that the Commission consider the inclusion of social sustainability and due diligence requirements. And they also made a proposal on remedies for lack of compliance. And to give you some details, is that if a product is non-compliant, then that would lead to a non-conformity with the sales contract. And in case of marketing or offering for sale of a non-compliant product, that would be considered an unfair commercial practice. And I believe that was my last slide. Can I have this one after this one, I think? Yes, this is the last one. So this is what I had. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll be happy to answer questions and hear comments if you have any.
Yes, well, there was a lot of information. Thank you, Erika.
I would
Anyone
like to
there?
still one point.
Yes.
To be kept in mind that this is still under the negotiation, so things may still change, and I really can't give much details as to the current situation in the negotiations as they're ongoing.
Yes, thank you, Erika. I think we, us in our partner group, we all already faced a lot of information, and I think I give the first question to Emilia, who's rose her hand first. So, and after that, followed by Olga.
Hey, thank you, Erika, so much for the great presentation once again, and it's so great to be able to speak to you. I have a lot of questions, but let's see. Maybe some of them are like Finland specific. I was thinking about the eco design expert group. How do you see? Will we have, like in Finland, like an own expert group that can feed information to the original expert group? Or how do you see that we could organize us here in Finland?
Well, that remains to be seen. We haven't really talked about it yet. From other fields, we have some examples that we might use, but no real plans have been made as yet, so I can't really give you any details on that.
Okay, thank you. May I continue with?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Then I was thinking, this just was something that sprang to my mind about the delegated act when we go to the product groups. This can also be a question that you can't answer, but when we come to that part, or then the implementing act, whatever it will be, so will the responsibility still be at the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment, or will it move to another department or ministry?
You ask very difficult questions because we haven't decided that either. This is because this covers such a wide area of different issues. We have, issues belonging to our ministry. We have issues belonging to the Ministry of the Environment, to the Ministry of Traffic and Communications, to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So it's a lot of discussing to do.
Erika, is it the same situation with this that the responsibilities are so split into different ministries? So is that the same in all of the markets that we are in EU? So all the countries are facing the same?
I guess to some extent, yes, because it. I have the feeling that I'm under the impression that there had to be some choices made also in other member states in which ministry would take charge of the negotiations. But I don't know any details on that.
But probably so.
Yeah,
that is maybe
likely,
a big challenge
yes.
also for us trying to find information on internet on a local issues. So it's so divided into different pages, ministries.
Yeah, exactly.
Emilia, do you still have something? Or
I can keep them and give the floor to
okay,
Olga
let's keep
and
rotating.
continue afterwards
All right.
if we
Olga.
have time. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Erika. Very interesting. Maybe my question is simpler, but our project is working with the second-hand mostly industry, and I have heard and I saw in the slides that there won't be any eco-design requirements towards second-hand. And does it mean that there will be certain preferences that are given to the second-hand companies and competitive advantage? And I was thinking if there is any discussion around that, if you maybe can give us some clue. Thank you.
Well, that's a question that is still under negotiation. Our point of view into that has been that we actually support the exemption of imported second-hand goods, or the possibility for the Commission to make these exemptions. But I have no idea whether that will, because it was in the Parliament proposal. It wasn't in the general approach. It wasn't in the Commission proposal. So I have no idea whether that will be in the end result. And this is all I can say about that. Sorry.
Thank you. Very interesting. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Any other questions from the other viewers? Salla. Salla, you have, I don't hear you.
Yeah. I'm wondering about the digital passport. I'm not sure if you're the right person to answer this question, but I guess my question around that is for whom is it like mostly meant? Is it kind of like a consumer-facing thing? Is it like for the consumers to find out more about the product, or is it more like for the companies, or like what is the kind of aim of the digital passport?
The aim is to make sure the information reaches. My impression is that the ultimate aim is to make sure the information reaches every step of the value chain.
Okay.
So it depends, as a distributor, it allows to access certain information. As an importer, it should serve you as well, and as a consumer, it should serve you. It's supposed to cover the whole value chain.
Yeah.
So valuable information in all steps of the value chain.
Yeah, exactly.
But
there was
ensure transparency and all that quality and the eco design thinking in a way that.
Exactly, and the idea is that the user rights could also differ, depending on which role you are in the value chain.
Okay, maybe we still have a space for one question or so. Harris.
Yeah, thank you very much for the nice presentation, Erika. How do you check the authenticity of the digital passports? Is it blockchain technology that is involved, or how do we know that? Yeah, the authenticity of what is digital passport is including.
A very good question. No such details have been addressed as yet. I believe that we need to set out the more specific requirements in the delegated acts together with the eco-design requirements, and then that would also include the checking of the authenticity. But there's really a lot of work to do still with the digital product passport. It's not a finalized concept.
Okay, thank you, Erika. And I have just one more question, and then I think we need to move on. It's about ESPR and the digital product pass. So when would you say they will be in effect and fully, ongoing? When will this kind of like start actually in the companies? If we think about textile.
To be quite honest, I have no idea at this stage. I guess it could be possible before the European elections next spring or next summer, that the regulation could sort of be finalized, but then it takes time before it can actually be applied. I believe there will be usually the sort of deadline has been put within, I don't know, 1 year from the start of from the coming into force, and then you have to bear in mind that to make this fully operational, you also need the delegated acts. So only the framework regulation will not mean much to most product groups. So.
Okay, Erika, thank you very much. Emilia, do you want to comment or ask yet?
I would like to add, because Erika mentioned the elections, the upcoming elections. So I'm not sure if this is something that you can answer, but can you see that that the election may have an impact on the regulation as a whole then, or are we probably, have we finalized like the framework before the election and then we go to the delegated acts or that, or how do you see that this will like develop from here, keeping in mind the election?
To be quite honest, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea, because we still have many months to go. And a lot of work has been planned, I know, by the presidency. We'll see. We'll see how it falls out.
Okay, thank you. I think we need to close this interesting topic now and move on to our next guest speakers topic. And we thank Erika, you for staying here. And of course, you're welcome to stay even after this if you like. But we give the word to Emilia now.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Will you, Johanna, share
How
the
would you like it to
presentation?
do? Or would you?
I
Yes.
actually can't
Yes.
share. I don't have
I can
the
give you a
opportunity here
permission
to
to
share.
share.
So
Just a moment. If you like to do it yourself, maybe.
yeah, we can do it like that. So
Yes, it's fine for me, however. But now I made you a presenter. Did you?
okay, great. Now I can have. Yes. Let's see. Let's see what you can see.
Yes.
And
We can see your mini slides yet here on the left.
All right. Let's see. Now.
Now, yes.
Okay. Great. Let's put you here. So yeah, good morning, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to come and discuss with you. At this point, as a disclaimer, I usually do a lot of slides, like too much of slides. So the aim is not to go through them all like in the more, maybe to have to you where you can look into some issues or something. But that's a disclaimer at this point. But yes, so my name is Emilia Gedda, and I work for the Finnish Textile and Fashion Association. Let's see, I can change that slide. Now we can get it. Yeah, so for the Finnish Textile and Fashion Association, and here my role is as the Chief Advisor of Sustainability and Circular Economy. The Finnish Textile and Fashion is an employer organization, so we represent the employers of the Finnish textile and fashion industry. The backbone of our work is that we negotiate the collective agreements for the industry and representing the employers in this part. And beside of that, we provide our member companies with different kind of services and act as an industry influencer. And here you can see some of our great member companies. Maybe some of them are familiar to you. And at the moment we have approximately 250 member companies, and they operate in different parts of Finland, from south to the northeast parts of Finland, and also in different parts of the textile value chain. So we have raw material providers, brands, and then we also have actors that work with issues at the textiles end of life part, and also other kinds of members, such as different kinds of educators and so forth. So that's who we are. And yeah, let's start with the EU textile strategy. It was the Commission gave their proposal on the EU textile strategy like in the spring of 2022. And as the name says, it's a strategy. So and it includes like the different like different topics, different regulation. It includes the regulation that will be enforced in the EU during the next years. And 16 pieces of legislation is at the moment upcoming to the industry, and they tackle every part of the industry, so every part of the value chain. So we from the raw material side to the end of life side, and everything in between there. Topics include environmental sustainability, social sustainability, business opportunities, and then of course circularity. So it's a huge amount of legislation that is that we will face during the next couple of years. We usually call it a tsunami, and because it's a lot going on. So therefore, I totally understand that it's good to have these kinds of presentations to somehow get a grip of what is going on. I have decided in this presentation to focus on the eco-design that we heard Erika's presentation on, and more of like providing you with the Finnish textile and fashion industry's point of views regarding the proposal that we have on the table at the moment. And then another part, I would like to talk about the textile waste aspect and the extended producer responsibility that we got a proposal on last summer. So these would be the main topics. But as you see, these are just like few. We also have, for example, green claims and proposal that the Commission gave last spring, and then we also have, for example, the textile labeling that we still are waiting for, except we expect it to be released like before the end of year this year. But yeah, a lot is going on. Also in the financial side, and when we go to the due diligence side as well. But the ESPR that we hear the great presentation from Erika. So like a summary maybe of our point of view. So we or the Finnish textile and fashion industry. So we welcome the development of environmental sustainability for textile products. We see it as a good approach that the legislation will support the work to increase the sustainability efforts, as well as develop the circularity in textiles. This being said, we also stress that that there are some issues that needs to be solved already in this ESPR framework work, but also then when we move on to the delegated act, where which will dig deeper into the different product groups. So the small and medium, or actually the micro and small and medium-sized companies should be taken into account. We know at the moment that 88% of the textile companies in Europe or EU is micro enterprises, and 11% are small and medium sized. So they represent a huge amount of companies active in the textile and fashion industry. Erika mentioned the different kind of requirements related to ESPR. So here's some of our point of views, not all, but some of them. So we stress that targeted support is needed, as well as a sufficient transition period. So we need to keep in mind the maturity of the industry, and here also the balance between the competitiveness and the environmental performance. So everything of this needs to be in balance, and maybe a kind of step-by-step approach would be the most beneficial in order to get started, and then tighten it when we move forward on the journey. And then we see that when we start with these product groups that will be in the delegated acts, we already know that textile products are probably being among the first ones to move forward with the delegated act. Nothing is still, there's still questions open to that, but this has been on the table for a long time already. But we stress here that it should, when we start the work, it should be, the target should be on product groups with the largest environmental impacts at the moment. And we know at the moment that the consumer products are one of the most relevant sectors or product groups when we talk about environmental impacts. And then we also want to stress that quality and durability should be in the focus of the requirements set in ESPR. These all also are directly connected to reusability and repairability. So these should be kept in mind all the time. The concerns that we have regarding the ESPR are for example, that how can we create a fair level playing field within the member states, so that every operator or actor has the same requirements in place. Here's, for example, that we know that we have many operators that are from outside of the EU but sell into EU, so they should have the same requirements in place, and here's the role of market surveillance, really important in order to create a fair level playing field. And then also the product compliance. How can it be verified? It should always be verified, but how can it be verified without an unreasonable burden to companies, especially, once again, the small and medium-sized companies? So these are some main points that we have identified, and these needs to be kept in mind when we move forward with the regulation. Then when we go to the digital product passport, here I could mention that approximately 1 year ago, the Finnish Textile and Fashion Association, together with the technology industry in Finland, created a digital product passport report, where we started to draft how this could look in the textile industry. So this is something that you could, I can put the link to you as well to that, but I think it could be beneficial to take a look at that as well. But the main idea is that transparency and traceability is needed in the textile industry, and the digital products passport, we see it most of a tool that could enhance the transparency and traceability in textile products, and this is very welcomed. But here also we understand that the digital maturity is not in the industry, is not maybe on a really high level, so we need once again take this into the account and create an approach that enables all the companies to be part of this development. So we have two issues here. We have both the digitalization and how to increase the capabilities regarding that, and also the sustainability side that needs to talk to each other. And the truth is that it's the supply chain in the textile industry, so they are challenging. They are worldwide and really multi-dimensional. Not all, of course, but most of them. And this needs to be kept in mind, that there's no easy solutions, but actions are needed. And then I talked once again, the micro enterprises and SMEs are mentioned here. And then a huge question here is also, what will the information be that will be needed in the digital product passport? It should be material and relevant information, but also about the reliability of this information. How can we gather or collect information from the value chain that is reliable and also comparable? And this is not something that we need to look into and have actions in place and move forward. So therefore we emphasize that all the planning related the digital product passport should be done together with the industry, because the industry has the know-how. They know what the information is available and today and what can be available tomorrow, and they also understand the supply chains here. Then about the standardized data management, it's needed also that we know what kind of data or information is collected and the comparability between this, so that for example, the end user can do some kind value-based comparison between the products or whatever related to that, what is important for them. Then we also stress that the final implementation should be beneficial to the companies as well. It should also provide the companies with new information, important information, and here once again maybe talking about the capabilities of the supply chain as well, so that we gather relevant information that we can use and is valuable in the business operations, and also in the longer run supports the sustainability of the sector. And then we have in the ESPR, we had also the parts of destruction of unsold clothing or unsold goods and green public procurement. And as an industry, we think that these both aspects are really important and find those both very welcomed. Regarding the destruction of unsold clothing, the industry is ready. The Finnish industry is ready to commit to this, and however, here's some points that need to be clarified. So, recycling and incineration are different issues, and these should be also taken into account when drafting the legislation. And then also the definition of unsold consumer products should be defined, so that we all understand what it's meant with that. And harmonized rules are important, because we have actors that operate on in different member states, and this is the way to keep the administrative burden reasonable when we have the same rules in every member state. And once again, operators outside of the EU should be also regulated in the same way as the companies that have their headquarters here in EU. And then the public procurement it's a really important part. The impact public procurement has on the industry, especially in Finland, it's huge, and that's the way to also to create the demand and increase the market for more quality, circular or sustainable products. So this is also, I see, a tool that should be in place to enhance the sustainability and circular aspects within the textile industry. Yes, so next we move to the revision of the Waste Framework Directive and extended producer responsibility of textiles. This was a proposal that the European Commission gave in July this year, and it's about the revision of the Waste Framework Directive, and there was two focus areas in this proposal on revision. The other one was on on food, and then the other one was textile related. And like really briefly, the main textile related aim was to implement the polluter pays principle. You can see the other aims here as well, but the polluter pays principle was the main aim here. And the polluter pays principle is the same as extended producer responsibility. It means that the producer is responsible for the impacts of its products throughout the lifeline of the product. But of course, other aims as well. But this is the main aim. And when we go to the extended producer responsibility, so the proposal says that the member states should introduce a EPR scheme for household textiles, clothing, accessories, and footwear. So keep in mind here the word household textiles. So it's not B2B textiles, it's household textiles that are sold to consumers and that they want to discard in a later stage. And then the proposal continues that with how this should be organized. And it's given in the Waste Framework Directive, and it includes measures such as financial responsibility of the producers, and then a producer register that all producers need to sign up to in every member state. Then we should have producer responsibility organizations. These are the organizations that would take care of the operational management of this extended producer responsibility within the member state, and then also on the management of textile waste. Who are the producers then? So they are the manufacturers, importers, or distributors of textile and footwear products. And this includes also online platforms, which is really good. Where we know in Finland, we know that approximately, was it 55% of all clothing is sold from the online platforms. So it's really important that when the producers take the responsibility of the product's life cycle, that all producers are part of this work. So this is a really important part of this. Used textile and footwear products, or operators that sell these kinds of products, are excluded from the proposal. So they are not classified as producers here. And then also like micro enterprises, they are excluded from the proposal at the point. This is up for negotiation at the moment. And then, of course, self-employed tailors producing customized products, so they are not classified as producers neither. So, but then maybe a bit like insight into what kind of, when I mentioned the financial responsibility, so what will this financial responsibility entail then? So the producers or the producer responsibility organizations, so they would be responsible and for financing the collection of used textile waste, and footwear as well, and about the like end of life treatment of this, recycling and end of life treatment of this. And producers would also be responsible for collection, transport, and treatment of waste generated by social enterprises and other non-waste operators. And then also producers are responsible, according to the proposal, to carry out these kind of compositional surveys of collected mixed municipal waste. So the aim is to see how much textile there would be in the mixed waste on municipal level. Every 5 years this should be done. And then also producers would be responsible of like providing information about sustainable textile consumption and waste management, and also gather data regarding this and do the reporting, the member state level reporting that will then be giving over to the EU Commission. And in addition to this, the producers would also be responsible to support the research and development to improve the textile infrastructure. And then one of the main points here in the proposal is also that the producers should finance the cost of products made available on the EU market after the amendments of the directive have entered into force. So we have like here a timeline. So producers would be only responsible for the textile waste that is collected after the directive and the legislation is in force. And this can be a bit of a tricky part here, because how do you know? How do the consumers know when the product has been bought and who is responsible for the textile waste management of it? But yeah, we are working on the proposal part now, so let's see, everything will evolve here during the next years or so. But then I just wanted to mention that this is just briefly, we had a preliminary study on possible textile EPR models in Finland. We conducted it together with the association that represents the municipal waste companies here in Finland. The thing is that as of the beginning of this year, the municipalities have been responsible for collecting the textile waste, and this is something that will change if the EPR goes in force. So the aim here was to try to understand a bit better what this would mean in Finland, and how this should be done then, because we have like two systems that should somehow work together, and the responsibility is moving over from one part to another part, and just try to understand what this could mean for the operators here in Finland. I will not go this deeply through this, but as part of the preliminary study, we identified two different operational models with two different kind of approach. So here you can see that, I'm sorry, this is only in Finnish here, but here you can see the first operational model with like the 1A and B. We talk about the shared responsibility between producers and municipalities. And how the like supply chain will look for that one here. And the shared responsibility here is about the shared responsibility of financial means. So we tried to look into that. This is something that this model or these models that we can see here is actually something that cannot be done when we look at the proposal that we got from the EU Commission. At the moment, this is not like this doesn't follow the rules of the proposal at the moment, because the proposal says that the producers should only be responsible for this EPR scheme, and there's we don't know how much like we can have like national different approaches here. So, but we see that these are models that should be taken into account when the drafting of the legislation is done. So we just wanted to like bring this also up to the discussion. And then we have the other operational models where the financial and operational responsibility is fully on the producers here, and you can see the different kinds of angle between the 1A and B and 2A and B. The difference between these A and B's are the thing that we have moved the social enterprises to another part of the value chain here, and so that they are part of the value chain, but like they don't have a special. They become part of the value chain in a later stage. So that is something that we found quite important here. But yes, then the maybe the main part of the pre-study was the impact assessment of these different models, meaning that the dark reds, so there's the impact is most negative, and the dark green, so you can see that where the impact is the most positive one, and this we find to be really important, these impact assessments, to understand the balance between the financial part and the environmental part. And this is really because we need to have a balance there. This EPR scheme needs to be cost efficient, but at the same time, it needs to take into account the, especially the environmental impact. It needs to improve also the environmental side of this. But happy to talk about this a bit more with you later, and I think I can end my presentation here. Thank you.
Thank you, Emilia. Thank you very much. This was very interesting, and I was just thinking that the latest part that you showed regarding the Finnish specific market about the waste kind of like a handling system of the process. Maybe there are similarities in the other markets as well. I don't know if you are an expert on that, but it would be a good idea that all of us look into their own markets whilst having taken some time to maybe to view the slides. Maybe I can try to translate them for everybody, those those processes, and it's important to understand the waste management part, because we in our project we are also working. One of our big goals is to reduce waste on a textile, to find solutions to reduce waste. So that is important that we understand that part as well. well, not only to how to increase the sales of used items.
No,
Now,
exactly,
yes.
because the problem is here that we need to need to have like quality products that that can be used for years, and like from the technical aspect as well as the emotional aspect. So there, that's the point where we start, and then we move forward. And the waste management part it's the most latter part of everything. Like one could say that something has gone wrong when we have waste there. We should have it in recycling then or somewhere else. So these are like really interesting topics, and sounds great that you have something ongoing on that side.
Yes, I would. It's been great to listen to both the presentations. It's been maybe a little bit longer, but we don't want to interrupt because this is all very valuable for us, for even to review a little bit later from the recordings and presentations. And of course, we will give some time for the questions, but in the meanwhile, we decided to share to our partners the Miro board that we made. And there are some quite simple tasks for you that you can fill even after this session. If we don't have time to do it together, we would like to have your input there and what you learned, how do you see those viewpoints. But before that, I would give you a word to ask a few questions from Emilia now when she's here, or comment anything that she has presented. Henna.
Yeah, hello Emilia. Nice to have you here. Thank you for coming. Great presentation, you and also Erika. Question, in this project we are aiming to create with the companies in our areas a kind of new business and business models also related to the circular economy of textiles and of course reuse and lengthening the product life cycle, and all these are very important. Do you have any tips for us? There are of course the companies who are already there, they are going to develop, and then there might be also new companies coming around this business. There are so much regulation and legislation, as we heard. So what and how the new companies and the small companies, how they should react and what they should know when developing these new businesses around the circular economy. So about the digital passport, so how they can kind of be part of this and how we can help them. Quite a large question, but I think you get my point also. Yeah. Thank you, Emilia.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I have like a proper answer for this one, but let's just like reflect on that. So hopefully you all will join me on that. Yeah, I totally understand that the environment is really, the business environment at the moment is we are like in a huge transformation at the moment. You need to have the sustainability side like close in mind. Then also we see the digitalization part that is evolving rapidly, and all the capabilities that we need. We need different kinds of capabilities, different kind of resources, different kind of expertise on this side. So this is also something we need. We need the support from the education part, and this is something that needs to be done together. It's yeah, and then you need to be innovative as well, because you need to like identify where you can see the potentials to move forward on that side. I could say what we try to do with our member companies. So we have quite a lot of different kinds of webinars, or like also like we meet our member companies, and we always try from I represent the sustainability and circular side, so we always try to like discuss these issues, like have you taken into account this, and then maybe sometimes somebody hasn't even heard about this, so we try to like also provide information in this and try to get them to participate in our events and discuss with their with the other member companies to like also, because it's really important to discuss, to understand, because you're in maybe in a different part of the value chain working with these issues, but then the next part of the value chain, the issues are a bit different and you need to like understand that. So maybe like this kind of ecosystem thinking is really important as well. Is it so that we can't, is it so that you can't, the normal way of doing business, the conventional way, if you know what I mean with that one, when you have this business and it's going onward, and then you have your partners, your suppliers, and those, is this something also that is in transformation, that this is not the way to move forward anymore? When the partners they are different, they can be, the partners are the ones that maybe have been your competitors before, so maybe they become your partners also. So yeah, I actually don't have an answer,
but I think
that's good.
You
that's
need to
very good.
like
Yes.
the change of mindset. And then we have the consumers as well, so we need to also, like, I think bring awareness to them, because there's a lot of information available on sustainability, really a lot, but is it just like it's too much to take in also? So yeah,
maybe somehow to simplify, but Emilia, this, if I may comment, Henna, this your question, it was a very good question, because this actually for us because it's kind of like, it's everything that we have in our project targets. What you're explaining now, Emilia, is that there's a huge transformation, there's digitalization, and we need educational competencies for the textile companies, and we need to discuss openly, even with those that you considered as a competitor earlier. So for us, it sounds good that it sounds like that the project that we are carrying on now, that it is needed, and it has its place, that we are working with this now.
Absolutely, I think it's really important, and I know that businesses, not only in Finland, especially in Nordics, I think we are a bit the front runner in this this thing. So we need, the businesses also need information. We have the conventional type of doing business, and we can see that many of the conventional ones, so they are bringing also for example, the second-hand part as part of they are like extending their product offers on that side. And then we have others that are collaborating with some new kinds of businesses that provide like circular business models. So, but the businesses also need, we are like in a really early stage at the moment. I would say it's not yet like financially beneficial to do this, but you need to do it because you also, so all information available is really, really important. All data, because when we talk about circularity, we need data. So all data is really important, and all new kinds of way of thinking. We need to like not just disrupt the whole business. We need to disrupt our mind as well.
Can I disturb you, Emilia, with the one question? I don't know if you, Johanna, saw that there, Harry's question related to the similar kind of organizations in Sweden or in Estonia, in Latvia. What kind of organizations similar than yours are there in the neighbor countries?
In Sweden, I know TEKO. Is it? Yeah, TEKO. There we have that, and then Estonia. I'm not sure. I have some contact person in Estonia as well. Sweden actually have. You also have Borås that is really active in this, and then you have like the. What is it called? The Swedish commerce side. To like Svenska Handelslaget or something like that. I'm not sure. I can check the right name of that. But Estonia, I'm not sure if you have organization there, but I know you have active people that are following these issues. But maybe I could check and send to you, Johanna and Henna, a list so you can share it. So
yes,
of the people we have.
Thank you, Emilia.
Yeah, for Estonia, I don't think that, just to reflect, I don't think that we have a specific organization that does something like you do that's specifically focused on textiles. We do have these active people, yes, who are like at the forefront of it, but yeah, not the organization that I know of.
Yes, there's. I can send you a link to Emilia's organization's webpage. It is also provided in English, so you can all utilize it anywhere. We're all in the EU region, and there might be some local differences, but I mean the EU strategy is for all of us, and yes, the Eco Design Directive is for all of us. So. I think, I have a long list of questions, but I think we need to come back to that later. And as I said in the chat, and I even mentioned, so we're running out of time now, but we hope that the partners, you will take a few minutes, maybe today when you still remember everything clearly, and maybe put some of your comments there, and hope that you also can mark from which organization you're from, if necessary, if there's something that we need to take kind of like note of, that it's a local question. So please use your own time today for completing that Miro board. We have a purpose of coming back to it and using it later on in our sessions. So thank you, Emilia. Thank you, Erika, and thank you for all of you for participating today. And we hope that. Yes.
Sorry. Sanna asked if we could potentially just take a screenshot of everyone, if everyone would be happy, so we can make a LinkedIn post just in regards to advertising. Is everyone okay with putting their camera on and having a screenshot? Of course, if you don't want to be in it, feel free to leave as well. That's not a problem.
Yes.
Yes, Johanna. Yeah.
No, it was not a question. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. It's all right. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna take it in 3, 2, 1. Sorry, one more time. Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. And for everybody, have a nice day, nice week, and we will be hearing from each other, hopefully also to TEM and STEM. And have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.